what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today. We are now less than 24 hours away from this weekend's Flex Pro Weekend Italy competition. It's tomorrow. It's a Sunday show. In another day, another round of physique updates from all the top competitors, including and starting with Tim Budesheim, the German bodybuilder, fan favorite. This is from his YouTube channel yesterday, so this would have been 2 days out from taking the stage. And to me, Tim looks like he's put on some size. He looks bigger than I remember him looking in this update. Typically, like I said before, Tim's kind of known for having really hard, grainy conditioning. That's kind of his trademark signature thing. He looks a little bit thicker here, a little bit more dense. His lower body looks crazy. His quads look really good. A lot of density for him through the chest and the arms. He looks really good here to me. He looks really full, too, so I feel like he's in the process or had just, really started to fill up, carb up, and refeed. And I think you can kind of see that in his midsection a little bit, because he to me looks really full. In this lineup, I really feel like they're spoiling us here. All these guys look great. All these guys look really on point, and they're all posting, like, every single day, a new update, just days away from the show. We don't typically get this. This is a real treat for bodybuilding fans, that all these guys are very confident in how they look, very active with posting. They're all posting like their best physique updates that they've got, and they all look phenomenal. And we haven't talked as much about Tim as we have Blessing and Regan and Nathan, so I wanted to make sure I opened this video with him because I think he looks really impressive here. Now, another guy that we haven't talked as much about, Theo Leguierrier doing this show, French bodybuilder. He did win a pro show last year. Now, I don't think he's as big as some of these other guys, but of course we're going to have to wait till we see them all on stage. He's a little bit less muscular, I would say, more on the aesthetic side, but he looks really conditioned here. You can see crazy striations in his chest, really deep, really separated. But you can see, throughout the arms and shoulders, not as big and not as full as some of these other guys are. I think in a lineup like this with Regan and Nathan and Blessing and even Tim, these are bigger guys, and I feel like he will be competitive here, but to win a show with guys like this, I feel like he will need some more size. Because while I think he looks great in these two photos, he's given me kind of classic vibes, classic physique vibes with his physique here. Which is a compliment, by the way, that's not an insult. I just mean to say that from a size standpoint, this might be a difficult lineup for him, but you could see him in that first call. I think that's entirely possible, especially based on the conditioning that he's showing here. The guy looks great, and he's a very young guy. He's got a lot of time to add more size and fill out a little bit more. Now, we did get another update from Regan today, a side chest, where he looks, again, really big. Regan's size here is impressing me, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing most on the stage, is how much bigger he actually looks with this supposed 20-plus pounds of stage weight that he's added since the last time he competed. Really big in this side chest. Really good pose for him. His chest looks massive. His arms look big. Side profile of his legs looks really good here. Really strong pose for Regan. I saw a lot of people putting this side by side with that recent pose, the same pose from Nathan Diasha, the side chest. And it's interesting because it is this element of, is Regan going to sacrifice conditioning? Because if you look at him versus Nathan, and this is kind of a good example of why I said Nathan looked a little bit downsized. If you look at Nathan's legs, they look a lot more detailed and conditioned than Regan's from the side, but they do look smaller. His glute hamstring tie-in and just the hamstrings in general don't really hang the way that I think they used to for Nathan. And if you look at Regan's legs, they're definitely bigger than Nathan's, and they're definitely bigger than I feel like they used to be. Like, look at the size of his hamstrings compared to Nathan, but it's not the same level of detail, and that's what I'm concerned about with Regan. But then if you go up to the upper body, which again I felt like with Nathan was a little bit, it just looked smaller. It looked a little atrophied. It looked a little flat. And you can see that Nathan's got this crazy full chest, Regan has this crazy full chest, and you can see the striations in his chest in this pose. Nathan, his chest isn't as full as Regan's, and you don't really see those striations. So it's kind of weird because in the lower body, he looks more conditioned than Regan. In the upper body, not really. At least in this specific pose. And maybe it's just because Nathan is more depleted, maybe he's just more flat, and maybe Regan is just really carved up and really full right now, and that could be the difference that we're looking at. But I do think it's worth pointing out that these two guys look very different in this pose. In both the upper body and the lower body, you can spot a very significant difference. And we're really just going to have to wait till we see them side by side on stage to get like an accurate idea of the scale of them standing next to each other versus just looking at these pictures. But we're getting a nice little preview for this show. And why stop there? Because we also got another update from Blessing today at One Day Out. And Blessing, I think, also looks fuller. I think he has also started to fill out for the show. And I think it's interesting that we've gotten so many updates this week from all these guys, because we've seen them flatter, we've seen them more depleted, we've seen them sharper, then we slowly get to see them look bigger, fuller, more filled out. We're really getting to see a very comprehensive look at the peak week for all these guys. And honestly, the more I look at Blessing and the more I look at his physique updates, the more impressed I am by the package that he brought here. I know we were all pretty negative towards Blessing with his last showing on stage, and I think that was because he did look that bad. He was off. It was very noticeable. A lot of people pointed it out, which is why I think we need to give him props here, because I really do think this is different. This is a different Blessing. And we're not going to know for sure until we see him on stage, but it really looks to me like he might have nailed it this time. But we're going to find out soon. We're going to find out tomorrow. Now, we did also get another very brief update from Nathan. This is from him and his coach, Boss of Outlaw. Again, this was supposedly today, just 3 hours ago, so a one-day update from him. And he does look fuller here. You can see the striations in his chest here where you couldn't really see him in that side chest pose. I just can't wait for this show. This is going to be such a good show, guys. I just haven't seen a lineup like this in a long time where all these guys are just so confident in how they look that they're posting just full physique updates, full posing videos, 1 day out, 2 days out, 3 days out, every day during the week leading up to the show. They're all great bodybuilders, and they all know they look good, and they all know this is like one of their best looks. I love this. This is, as a bodybuilding fan, we should be excited for a show like this. We don't get this very often. Let me know in the comments below your predictions for this show, and if they have changed over the past week, seeing all these different updates from what they were a week ago. What is your top 3 here going to be? Now, next up in the news, we did get a really rare physique update from Hadi Choopan. Now, every time Hadi posts a physique update, we do have to take it with a little grain of salt, because we never know if they're actually recent. He doesn't typically say when exactly they're from. But that being said, if these are recent and they're from around 9 weeks out from the Olympia, Hadi looks incredible. This is the Hadi that we know and love, very consistent, always in shape, always conditioned, always on track. His midsection just ripped to the bone, his serratus, his obliques, his abs. From the front looks incredible, vascular, detailed, separated quads. The guy looks great. And this is why I say over and over and over again, they still have to beat the champ. Hadi's conditioning, he never misses. So if one of these up-and-coming guys is to beat Hadi, I think he would either have to be off, or they would have to have better conditioning or comparable conditioning than him with a better physique, which is really not an easy thing to do. Hadi has like the best, most consistent conditioning we've seen in years. He really does. And I think he's got a really strong chance at defending his title this year. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the show. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about with this Flex Pro weekend. But like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon. Check out MUSCLETECH, links in the description box below. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NICKS&P. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.